Hello and welcome back to Anyone Can Play Dark Souls. This is Strawman Gaming. I'm your Strawman, and again, we've still messed up the audio of this video. So, it's another commentary video. We saw how well that last one went, and I thought, you know, let's do that again. I didn't think that the game went wrong. I didn't want this to happen. Nobody wanted this. It's just, we're here now. Let's just get through this. So, there's a few things that are different. First of all, I would like to ask you to subscribe and to hit that like button. It helps that channel a great deal, and I really would appreciate it. Second thing we're going to do differently. In this episode, if I run out of things to say, I'm just going to stop talking. Because if there's nothing interesting happening on screen, we can just fast forward it. So, as it stands, this video is 55 minutes and, well, has 55 minutes and 12 seconds remaining. Or to put that in, you know, more standard units, a lifetime of dying on my arse left. But we're going to see. So we're still exploring Anor Londo, because I still haven't quite clicked as to where I have to go yet. Which, now that I know where I have to go, is quite frustrating, but at the time I was like, oh, this must be the way. And then you get here and all you get is the Sun Princess Ring, which boosts miracles? I can't... Anyway, remember the last episode I talked about the big people of Anor Londo? In Dark Souls 1, this chair contains a giant woman. Giant in height and giant in build. And she's actually an illusion, because Anor Londo is under an illusion. Like, there's a bright light outside, but there's a fake sun, because the Age of Dark is coming. It's a whole big mess. It's just lore, you know, and it's Dark Souls, so the lore is complicated. So it's so weird, because I don't know why it stresses me so much to do a voiceover after the fact. But I thought, you know, I'm gonna lubricate the old brain. So again, I have my early bottling of the Kalila whiskey to help me on the way. Yummy, yummy. It's quite burny, actually, and I think my palate's right. Because it wasn't last time, but today it's like hurting my mouth and my throat. It won't hurt for very long, it'll burn off whatever nerves are left there. So this is me trying to piece together where I'm supposed to be going. So I'm like, oh, I must have to go to the dancer. Did I do that last episode? I don't know. I didn't really look at the screen very often in the last episode, but I'm going to run up here. Because this is where the dancer fight is, but I don't know whether I've activated it yet. Do I turn around and kill him? Yeah, kill him. Remember how hard this guy was back in the day? Yeah. We've come a long way. Such a good feeling to go back and ruin enemies that caused you such problems previously. Such a good feeling. So yeah, this is where you fight the dancer. But I could summon the dancer immediately by killing this woman. I've never really understood the lore. I don't know who this woman is. And she gives me an item that I just do not understand. But you can just kill her and then progress to the last third of the game. I mean, you can't finish the game because you have to get all the Lord Souls, but there's this one Lord Soul that's meant to be gated off by the rest of the game, but you can just bypass that, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's for speedrunning purposes, I don't know whether it's deeply significant for lore, but I don't know, it's just one of those things. So I thought if I go out this door, the dancer's going to spawn, but nope. I haven't done a thing. As it turns out, oh my goodness. The thing I haven't done is I haven't killed all three lords. So the one that's missing is Yorm the Giant. I can't remember this. I don't remember how to get to Yorm the Giant. So at some point I will just stop and I will Google it on my phone. Oh, I get... It's weird watching yourself. I'm like, I know at this point I'm getting desperate because I've got viewers watching. I need to be on the ball. I'll go. Do you know where to go? Okay, she won't know. She's useless. So I think I know. I'll put the Lord Soul on his throne. Here's a shambling pile of shit. Can I fight the dancer now? No? Okay. So I'll go and talk to the Crestfallen Warrior and hope that he'll tell me something. Because in Dark Souls 1, he'll always kind of give you a hint. Like at the start, he's like, oh, you need to ring that bell. And then later on, he's like, oh, you need to What does he say? Oh, I need to go and, like, go through Darkroot Garden. Or he'll say something cryptic, like, oh, the King's Garden's untended these days. Like, oh, I'll go to the King's Garden. And the clue there... Oh, don't go back. Man, it's frustrating to watch me. Oh, I didn't. Good. It's for... what was I saying? Yes. The King's Garden is now in this... But in Dark Souls 1, there's Darkroot Garden, which you have to go through and you have to kill a wolf called Sif. And he gives you a ring that lets you traverse the abyss, which lets you jump down a massive hole full of black. And when you're in the hole, you can fight a boss called the Four Kings. It's a whole big mess. It's probably my... It's a boss I haven't died to a lot, but it's a boss that this will sound weird, but I struggle with the most. Like, I haven't died to it much, but I don't understand how to do the boss well, or why I haven't died to it. Because you start off fighting one king, and it's got, like, say, let's say 2,000 health. And the health bar along the bottom is maybe 8,000 HP long. But, so you think, yeah, that's 4 enemies at 2,000 health, but a 5th one spawns. So if you divide up the damage equally, you can kill the boss without ever killing any of the enemies, because the health bar can hit 0. But they could each have 100 health left. There's no net health left, so everyone has to die. Which is a weird and confusing thing, for sure. And I've never done that. Because you just kill whatever one is there first. Well, try and get killed before the second one spawns, try and kill that one before the third. But I've seen people online, like, have 5 kings and actually kill none of them. I think I've seen that. I might have made that up. Certainly, they've killed the boss with kings still alive. Here we go. Right, we're leveling up the Sellsword Twin Blades, because I watched a speedrunner using those. And again, if I'm not using a shield, I might as well be using a weapon like that. That's crazy powerful. And if I make that sharp, it changes the scaling with dex to A. And if you have, I think that speedrunner had like 44 dexterity, the damage output is disgusting. I should consider it. I really should. But I do like this. Well, I've probably got two respecs left this game. So I don't want to waste them. I think it's stupid that there's a finite amount of respecs you can do. That's just idiotic. I mean, in Dark Souls 1 you couldn't do any. Dark Souls 2 it was unlimited. Well, it was linked to an item, so if you're willing to keep playing through the game over and over again to farm those items, it was unlimited. But there's probably only 6 or 7 soul vessels in all of Dark Souls 2, so... Oh good, we're back in Alondo. This isn't going to be a waste of everyone's time. Oh my god, what am I doing? But yeah, this is... You probably only respec 6 times. But again, your friend could always... You could always co-op with someone and they could drop a soul vessel, so you could respec with that. So there was ways around it, wasn't this just a hard 5? Maybe you can increase it by improving devotion to the Covenant. I think I'm doing quite well here, because I shouldn't have aggroed 2 of them. Secondly, I shouldn't be fighting both of them. Like, I shouldn't be fighting any of them. And thirdly, I actually managed to kill both of them without dying. I mean, they're 2 fairly, at this point, trivial enemies, but still. They can mess you up if you give them a chance. And then I remembered that the bonfire I wanted to go to wasn't even this one. Because I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm not doing ASMR again, that was too far. So I think, like, there must be a secret room. Are you a secret? No. Because remember there's a statue like that just on the way in to Alondo before we went up that big twisty machine. So I'm here and I'm looking for secret rooms. I'm not going to find any, because this isn't where I should be, but that helmet is dope. Don't tell me that isn't dope. It's got a blade on the back. I don't know. I know that the look is a bit all over the place. If you could change the colour of items, that would be great, and I could make this a bit more coordinated, but I really like that helmet. I like this shirt. I like the gimpiness of my legs and hands. So I'm just checking all these doors, making sure they're real. This place, you know, in the lore is powered by illusions, so I don't see a reason why I shouldn't expect there to be illusions. That makes a weird noise, so I was suspicious of it, but at the end of the day, you know, I had to move on. I think we're coming up on the moment where I go away to Google it. I think I'm going to go and smack that wall again, despite smacking it in the last episode. Have another sip of whiskey, see how that... Like, the pain on the last sip was probably... I was going to say like a 6 out of 10, but on the absolute pain scale, you know, with 10 being unbearable agony and 1 being like... like a bad itch. Then it's probably like a 2. But on the whiskey mouth pain scale, it's probably about an 8, with 10 being the most painful whiskey I've ever drank. Which was at a distillery in Aberdeenshire called Glengarry, which if you want to look it up is spelled Glengarriach. Yeah, they let you try a taste of the new spirit, which is when... Did I explain how to make whiskey previously? You make whiskey, you take barley and you let it germinate, you mix that with water, you stir it up, you leave that to ferment, you take that mash, you put it into a kiln and you heat it and the alcohol boils off, and what you get out of that is called the new spirit. That is the base of all whiskey, and it's about, I think it's about 80% alcohol or 160% proof if you still use idiotic metrics like proof. And drinking that, it's not completely unpleasant. It's not like something like grappa or low quality tequila. It's just very alcoholic with very little subtlety. There's very little grain flavor present because it's so overwhelmed by the alcohol. There's no sugar because it hasn't had a chance to absorb any from the wood, so it's just like the most basic alcohol flavor imaginable. And it burns like a bitch. Like, your mouth hurts. That's probably from my experience, that's about a 10 in terms of pain scale in the mouth. This Kalila, early bottling, big strand. Compared to that, it's probably a 6 or a 7 on the last sip. But this is the thing, I picked it up to have a sip. I thought, I'm going to monologue about whiskey. So I'm going to take another sip, and I will tell you how the pain has progressed. On the mouth, it's probably down to a 2. On the throat, it's still probably up at about a 5. I did have some acid reflux earlier, so I might have like slight... Oh, look, I'm Googling it now. Might have some slight chemical burns on the back of my throat. So the alcohol will have to work a little bit harder to burn off all the nerve endings there and make me feel nothing. I still haven't been back to my other whiskey. Oh, I need to sneeze. What is it about recording and sneezing? Come on. Oh, my ears and brain. So in my Hat in Time video, I think maybe 2nd or 3rd, I spoke about a whiskey I bought, an Ardbeg, called Ugadal, which is a Gaelic word meaning dark water? Is it dark water? I can't remember. It's the name of the lake, where they get their water for the distillery. Loch Ugadal. And the it's very tasty, but it's also very weird, and I've never gone back to it, and that was maybe... Oh, okay, that's me rejoining the game, having looked it up. Like, right, I've got to go to the Profane Capital. To get to the Profane Capital, I have to go through Illithil. And do you remember when I went through the water beneath the bridge with the giant cat monster? I took a left into a kind of it's like a water reservoir, and it's full of those weird, creepy women that are like rib cages with hair and like 40 arms. Yeah, through there, that's one direction. If you go straight, there's a second direction. And I've just pieced together, because I saw it said go to Profane Capital, and the area before that was Illithil Dungeon. I'm like, Illithil? Yeah. So I pieced together that I have to go from Illithil to Illithil Dungeon to Profane Capital. So here we are in Illithil Village. I think that's what that sign just said. By sign, I mean text on the screen. can't remember which way it is. I remember these invisible bastards who now die in one hit. My goodness. So we're doing full speedrun strat. And by that I mean not exhibiting a great amount of skill like speedrunners do, but I instead just deciding not to fight enemies. I've been through here once, I don't have to prove myself to these people. Man, that throat pain really stays. So what did I say before, 5 or 6? If it was a 5 or a 6, it's now a 6 or a 7. I think I said 6, it's gone up to a 7. Stupid indigestion. I mean, that's my fault. The last 2 days, my wife went to a bakery in town that makes really good bread and brought back a whole bloom. That's all I've had to eat the last 2 days is that bread with butter and some biscuits she also bought. So it's, the diet hasn't been great the last 2 days, so I can't really be mad at my body for not really... Yeah, see that path to the left, that's where we went last time, and straight ahead is where we need to go. I thought I pissed about more here. Like, I thought I ran away to a region on the right and found stuff there, but maybe I didn't. Or maybe I'm going to like this and then do it. I'm hoping I don't. Come on, man. Just progress. This was very dark, so I'm going to have to go peek that. It's interesting watching the recorded video. Well, I'm watching this one level of encoding less than you'll be watching it. So I watch it live where it's highest quality, it's not encoded at all. And then I'm watching this encoded at indistinguishable settings, and then it gets encoded again by YouTube. Those guys are pulling me away so this guy can ambush me. And I knew that. I'm like, okay. I'm just gonna attack him. So I hit him. Oh, I only hit him once. I don't know why that that backswing doesn't hit him. So if you're wondering what kind of idiot I am, I'm the kind of idiot that spots an ambush, prepares for it, still walks into it, and then is still ambushed to exactly the same extent as I would have been had I not been aware of it. Top arsehole, seriously. But it's not far from the bonfire, so, you know. Will I forfeit a second time, though? No, I'm being more cautious. Give me some water to wash the whiskey down. Now my water's empty. Man, I'm not prepared today. I've resisted talking about this, because if I don't resist talking about it, the entire episode will be me talking about this. I mentioned it last time, but Irithyll Dungeon is the worst area in the Dark Souls series. For me. I mean, people will have a worse time in Blighttown, people will have a worse time in Shrine of Amana. Where's a bad area in Bloodborne? Is it Yargle Jail? That can be a really bad time if you get taken there too early. Like, well, you can't get taken there too early because the creature that warps you there only appears after a certain point. But if you haven't been keeping your character spec'd in a way that you want, or your weapon upgraded, if they warp you there, you will have a bad time. So I can imagine people having a really bad time there. But all those areas, they have redeeming properties. Shrine of Amana. There's ways to counter that I didn't use. Like, there's spell parry shields, there's spell resistant armor, there's being a spell build, there's having ranged damage. There's ways to make that less shit. And people talk about Blighttown, and it gets a lot of flack. And I think the main reason for that is the frame rate on the Xbox and PlayStation versions is unacceptable. It's sub 30, it's like 20 or 15. It's terrible. Unpopular opinion, I think the area of Blighttown is actually a really good area. With a caveat, as long as you know that the spider shield blocks 100% of poison damage. If you don't know that, it's a nightmare. Here we are, Irithyll Dungeon. But there's a lot of verticality, there's a lot of different paths, you have to be very aware of your surroundings. But with all those things, there's not actually that much bullshit. You know, if you fall off, it's usually your fault. You know, it's not like, there's not enemies that will stun lock you, there's not enemies that will, like, Dragon Slayer Great Arrow you from across them. I love this. The game slowly decides it gives a crap about geometry when there's a creature to kill in the fucking dungeons. But, yeah, so Blighttown is not as bad as people say it is, and I'm keen to play it in, see that enemy in the background? He is a top shit. He really is. Or she, I think, actually. I hate them. But yeah, I'm keen to play Blighttown in the re-release, because I've never played it at anything more than like 12-ish frames a second. So playing it at 60 in the Dark Souls 3 engine, I think will be good. So, see, when their eyes are red, if you look at them or they can see you, your maximum health will whittle down until it's like just a sliver. It's only temporary, and it will go back up, but when your max health goes back up, your health bar doesn't. So you can lose 99% of your health, because your max health is 1% of its total. Then the bar can refill. This guy tries to ambush you and push you off. Watch him. Watch his little animation. Get pushed. Also get sliced. So it will take all your health away, and then your health bar will regrow, and then you have to heal through it. It's just a really, really annoying mechanic. And it won't look that bad early on, but it progresses, and they take a mechanic that early on isn't that toxic or horrible, and find a way to really make it like awful. Like there. If I'd stood there for like maybe another half second or second, my health would have started ticking away. But you can get to it quick enough, and there's only one of them. Her eyes aren't red, I'm not losing health. Oh, that's the other little wrinkle that makes it great. That weapon she's holding is called a soldering iron. It's a trash garbage weapon. But if it touches you, it like pins you to the floor, and they can just stab you again and again and again. And it does very little damage in absolute terms, but when your health has been reduced to like 5% or 1% of its maximum, any damage is fatal. And they can hit you with that thing, when your health's maximum, hit you with that thing, then the red eyes can get turned on and your health just whittles away to nothing, and you can't do a thing. Ooh, is a spooky scream. Now, there we go. I've just remembered that door behind me, to my right now, or in front of that door. I later on find the keys for that, so I really should come back here, but the thought of it makes me want to die. But again, the only stuff that's really horrible in the dungeon is right at the end. If I'm coming back to this bit, then I can just ignore and circumvent most of that. So I should come back here, maybe it won't be that bad. Check out this drop attack. What a failure. 14 damage though, not to be scoffed at. Sniffed at. So these, we saw these in the undead village. Only these ones have a dickload of more physical resistance. 69 damage on a weapon that does 350 is too much. Yeah, I recognise that they're in a metal cage, so they'll be fairly well protected against a sword. That was me attempting my... Oh yeah, I didn't talk about weapon arts again. But I talk about them in a later episode. But I'll mention them now and then mention them again then. In that I've used my weapon art and it makes you spin once. Then you can mash strong attack and you'll continue to spin and do like... If you do a weapon art and then 2 strong attacks, you can get about 1,000 damage out in a second. Which is probably... It's a very, very high damage thing. Considering... You know, if you can do that 4 or 5 times against some bosses, they'll just be dead. And a lot of bosses easily give you that kind of a window of that length to when you're fighting them. But the main enemy, I try it again, is not receptive. See, there's definitely stuff worth coming back for, because that is a big glowing item. So that should be something good. That should be like an undead bone shard or an Estus flash shard or something like that. At this point, I'm filling myself with false confidence. I'm like, it can't be, it's actually not that bad. I'm annoyed about this backstab, because I would have rather just had a cleave attack and kill both of those in one hit. All 3 of those in one hit. But yeah, I'm like, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's just, you know, this game was a lot harder last time because of my weapon choice and setup. But maybe the dungeon's not so bad. I actually started to believe that. I started to tell myself, yeah, it's okay. You know, mankind is fundamentally good. The world isn't doomed. You know, there is reasons for hope. I was wrong. All those things are true, and this area is garbage area. But I do figure out how to deal with this bleed effect. Just notice that I lost a fight there Well, most intents and purposes, I lost a fight with an animal or creature in a cage that couldn't move to me, and I had, as much time as I wanted. I'm such a... yeah. Let's not forget, the whole point of this series is to say that anyone can play Dark Souls 3. And watching this back, I'm like, I'm not a good player. And I'm making progress. I'm gonna, stand up for a second, because my pyjamas, because, why not be comfy, are all twisted. And I'm back. They are fractionally less... oh, here we go. Here's where this mechanic becomes total bullshit. Person at the end turns her eyes red. Well, her eyes don't change colour. Her head turns red for reasons best known to herself. If you try and run up to it, look at my health bar. 3 ticks. I've lost maybe 20, 50, about 10% of my health. I need whiskey to suppress the rage. But you can run up to her. But even running full tilt, she still gets maybe 6 ticks off of it at you. It sucks. And this is the point from which it starts to get worse. That was a weird sentence. I got all my prepositions out of whack there. What I meant to say is it only gets worse from here. And it really does get worse from here. And it's like they've very deliberately front-loaded the good stuff and back-loaded the utter bullshit. So you'll see. Early on, it's okay. We've had a little bit of nonsense, but it's not too bad. And then we get to here. And it's just like a little bit more than I can handle. Why, you ask? Well, first of all, that thing needs to die. What is with my throat? Seriously, why does it do that? This thing's non-aggressive, but there's a lot of them later that are aggressive, so I assume there's a lore-filled emotional reason why I shouldn't have done that. But look at that thing. That can't be alive. That's like, killing a bee is a bad thing, because bees pollinate stuff and they provide honey. And then there's killing a wasp, and yeah, wasps pollinate stuff too, but to a lesser extent, and they don't produce honey. So what we're tacitly agreeing to there is that a creature's right to exist is based on its usefulness. Yay, capitalism. And that thing doesn't, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't produce honey. Or if it produces honey, I want no part of it. And other than that, it doesn't do anything. But look horrible, like a wasp. See, look at these bloody nonsense things. Look how little health I've got now. And those weapons that just stun lock you into oblivion. Also, it gives you a version of Tranquil Walk of Peace. So you can't run, and your rolling is greatly diminished. I hate it. Look at my health coming back up there. Like, oh, look, you've got maybe half of your health now. You could use an Estus flask and it wouldn't ruin your life completely. Shut up, brain. Yes, it would. Yeah. Hello, Freddy. Come to bless this video for a second time. I don't know if you can hear that. You probably can't. That is him licking my fingers. Because he's a lovely boy. And since I'm not playing the game, it doesn't matter if he's here. I can give him a fuss. I am very aware that the door is open and my wife can hear me though, so that makes me quite awkward. But I'm hoping she'll come close the door eventually if she's listening. Or not, I don't know. Freddy is walking around the kitchen, sniffing the floor very intently just in case anyone's dropped a little sliver of cheese or a crumb of bread that you can hoover up. He's a Labrador after all, he's a very greedy boy. But he's also a very lovely boy. It's good of him to come in, because all the angry memories of this section of the game were all flooding back. Yeah, and drinking. He's had to walk past 2 water bowls in this house to get to this point. So he walked past 2 water bowls and pushed open a closed door to come disturb the video and drink noisily in the background. What a dog he is. He's the best. If you've got a dog and you think yours is the best, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you're wrong. I've had dogs previously and I thought they were the best. But no, even compared to them, Freddy's the best. Even if he does drink extremely loudly for a long time. Like, you know, most dogs like, oh, I'm a little bit thirsty, I'll have a few licks. Freddy's like, I'm about to die of dehydration. I'll go and drink 400 gallons of water and then like have 4 peas in an hour. Which is fine, there's no health concerns there. He's been to the vet a lot and had like lots of things checked and he's fine. So he's not like secretly diabetic and that's why he drinks and pees so much, but... yeah. Because yeah... Are we nearly out? How long's left? 25 minutes. Oh, I remember why. Because I also was getting excited because I'm like, oh, we're nearly out. This is the exit. That door where the crystal lizard is like glitched on the geometry. That's the exit. That's the end of the dungeon. Spoiler alert. That is not the end of the dungeon. See, these guys have blue things, which given they drop simple gems, I assume these creatures are magic in some way. I don't know. I keep meaning to look it up. I'm like, no, I won't look it up. I will remain strong and stoic and never look it up. I think the video is a bit choppy as well. I think whatever was going on with my computer, it just did not like these settings. I wonder if there's anything to do with... Because with the audio playback, I also remembered I forgot to put a little clip of the audio in the previous episode. It seems to play back too fast and then too slow, so I wonder if there's something syncing the audio and video together, which is usually, you know, a codec, that by not having all the audio in the main channel, the encoder struggles to package everything as an MP4 file because it doesn't have the right timing. Like, I don't know if there's like back when things were analog, the audio track had like a time code ticking along in the background, or the information hidden in the ultrasonic frequencies, like the surround sound. There was ultrasonic sound there that indicated which speaker it should be sent to before things were digital. So I wonder if there's something, not that, but in some way a little bit like that. You know, in that it messed up the time. I didn't know exactly how to play it back because the audio was wrong or not what it was, or didn't have enough info. I don't know. It was a weird bug. As I said before, it was a setting that I changed that shouldn't have made any difference. And I mean that in two senses. One, there was no benefit to me changing it. And two, it shouldn't have been able to break something. But it wasn't broke. But I tried to fix it, and I broke it. So I'm here, atoning for my sins. Doing a thing that I find really stressful. Oh, the whiskey is definitely helping. I'm feeling a lot better. I've only had roughly half a dram, which is an exact Scottish measurement. I am feeling a lot calmer. I'm certainly breathing more fluidly. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. I'm certainly breathing more regularly and stressing less, but I do feel... Now I've mentioned my breathing, I have an overwhelming urge to do like the world's largest ever sniff. Oh, hang on. Michelle, can you... I think he's in the lounge. But can you close the door? You can get some snacks if you want snacks. The video is kind of a write-off anyway, so it's kind of just free form. My recording setup is on the dining room table. Also in the dining room is a shelf with all the snacks. And on it at the minute we have crisp breads, crackers, granola bars, chocolate, 2 kinds of biscuits, some shortcake, some gin. Just lots of stuff. And, you know, Michelle is a very snacky person. So, you know... Whenever I say, I'm going to go record for a few hours, she will always come in and, like, raid the snack shelf, like, get all the crisps and all the juice and everything together, so she doesn't have to come in and disturb the video. Which I'm thinking matters less and less. Because I was like, no, we need to be completely isolated from sound. The heating can't be on. You can't run the light in the bathroom because the fan will come on. You must be silent. Whereas, you know, 2 things. One, the audio gets noise gated anyway. It goes through direct compression and there's a noise gate below... I think it's about minus 42 decibels. I think below 42 decibels is completely muted. And anything above 12 is compressed at a ratio of 2 to 1. So that's a little behind baseball about how one of the stages of processing my voice. But I don't, like, in the background right now, the boiler is on. You know, in the dining room there is a closet, and in that closet is the boiler, and it makes an audible sound. But I don't think it's audible over the game audio and after the direct compression. So we should talk about this giant. There we go. I got the sniff off. This giant is the same as the giants from the Cathedral of the Deep, but he seems to do more damage and have more AoE damage from his melee attacks, which makes him much more annoying to fight. I got well, not glitched, but I collided with that ladder, and I'm getting out of here. Into this rat-infested hellhole. You notice I only have one Estus flask left. Did I ever go back and collect that item? Oh, please I went back and collected that item. There's a few things I know I missed here. Like, at the top of this corridor there is an item. I do get that one. But further along there is a different item. I think it's a purging stone. But when you collect it, or walk along it, a bunch of basilisks appear. And basilisks are dickheads, and I can't be bothered dealing with them, I don't have to, especially when I'm so nearly through with the dungeon. Well, actually, I'm not that nearly through, but I've come a long way. I don't want to do it all again. I hate it, it sucks. So, I'll get, like, looking along there is definitely an ambush up there. I can't even see the item, but I think it's a purging stone, or... It's not a cursed bite ring, we get that later somewhere else. So I think it's something like that. It might be an amazing item, it might be some undead bone dust, but... My logic at this point was, like, there's nothing along there that... There was a chest, actually, which I think is a mimic. I just saw it, looking along on the right-hand side. There's nothing along there that I want as much as I want to not be in the dungeons anymore. So I progressed on. Okay, we're coming from this fucking area. This is the reason the dungeons are just a hellhole. Windlets in shot. These guys just patrol around. They just walk around endlessly, and if you go and attack them, then they'll all turn on their little red faces, and all your health will just melt away to nothing, and then they'll... Oh yeah, I can come back. Oh man, I need to remember to come back here. This is the area where if you sit here and do a certain gesture, you'll be transported to somewhere else. Which I want to do, because I've never done that area. And I do now. I'm looking, like, do I have the gesture? I don't. In my main save, I do have the gesture. Spoiler alert for 3 episodes from now. I get that gesture, which isn't really a spoiler, but I will come back there. And there's a boss there that is... I think there's 2 bosses. There's one that's ludicrously easy, and there's one that is widely regarded as the hardest in the game. That a lot of people... I've seen a lot of people go up against that boss and just stop playing. Most famously, maybe? Well, by most famously, I mean, the person I think of most readily is Northern Lion. There's a boss there called the Nameless King, and he was doing a Dark Souls 3 playthrough and did everything, but that's an optional boss. He can still finish the game. I think he did finish the game, but he went back to the Nameless King, and as Nameless King tends to do, he just got ruined and never went back to it. Sorry for the sniffing. So this is us back opening a shortcut through the dungeon. I can't remember exactly where this is. Well, I can, but it's actually quite far through the dungeon already. You have to go... You come in, and you go across the bridge, and then you go left through the door, across the bridge again, and then along here. So, in terms of a run, it's not that long, but I've got no healing items left. I'm like, I cannot be bothered dealing with this right now. So I'll press on with 0 healing items. And do I adopt a low risk, I guess low reward system? No, I adopt a high risk, low reward system to try and progress further through this bloody train wreck of an environment. So This bit's not that bad. This is just a room with enemies in it, and they don't aggro onto you unless you get quite close to them, or you attack them. But they kind of look like that baby head on a spider body that was in Sid's bedroom, which again, turned out not to be evil, but we all judged it as being evil because it was from Sid's room. And those emotions stay with me. You know, Toy Story came out probably 20 years ago now. I want to say it was 1995. So I put Toy Story 23 years ago. Can that be possible? Do I have a portable device on me? Oh, you know, I am device rich, but like convenience poor. I'm sitting in front of a computer with two monitors, one with my audio recording, the other with my screen, watching the video. I've got a MacBook Air within arm's reach. I didn't pay for it. I never would pay for it. I got it for free. And I have a phone somewhere, and none of them are suitable for being used because the MacBook will play that stupid turning on sound, and the phone is evading capture presently. But yeah, I think it was 95, Toy Story. When did my parents get divorced? Or was it before or after that? I want to say Toy Story is 1995, so we're talking, at this point, 23 years, well, only just in 2018. At least 22 years old. But I still don't trust that bloody doll's head on a spider. Even though, as clarified, it's been showed that that doll is not evil, and that's just, you know, they'd had a hard life at the hands of Sid. But that initial mistrust as a child has lingered. I should use dung pies at some point. I mean, they're bad because they give you toxic as well. I've always thought they would give you toxic if you were within the splash. This video's been going on for too long. I always thought they would damage you if you were within the, I want to say splash damage, is that right? If you're within the, like, I thought they would break and be like an area of effect, and if you're caught in that, you'll get toxic too. Look at this bitch, just staring at me. I'll go outside and ruin her. And I think there's maybe 10 of these. And yeah, this is just my life for the next 13 minutes, 25 seconds. Gripping stuff, don't look away. There's the other problem with commentary after. I know what happens. There's no real suspense. I mean, you don't. But and I just get my mind went to a weird place there. I'm like, well, you know, I'm alive, so therefore the game must be fine. But that's not how it works. That's not like a movie character doing the narration of a film. You know, like in Forrest Gump, where he's sat on that bench telling people stories as he waits for his bus. When he's in Vietnam, you're never like, oh no, I hope Forrest Gump makes it out of Vietnam alive, because you know he does. He's sat on that bench in the future. So there's no real peril, but again, I am not my Dark Souls guide, so if it dies, A, it comes back, and B, I wouldn't die anyway. So that was a waste of a thought. And now I'm sad. Those seconds are gone, but I guess being sad about seconds that are wasted is just more seconds wasted. But then I remember, I look at the screen, I'm like, oh yes, I'm doing this. I'm watching this again. So if we want to talk about wasted seconds, we've got them in spades. Go on, get absolutely murdered. Rush her. I should have rushed her. Because after the head turns red, you've got maybe 2 seconds before her glare, I guess it's called, comes into play. Do you know what? Let's have a look at what these things are called. Illithil Dungeon. Illithil. Why do I always think it's Illithil? Enemies. We have... Are these jailers? Yes, these are jailers. Holds a lantern. When the lantern emits red light, the player's max health slowly decreases while within line of sight. Max health remains lowered for a short time, lasts for 20 seconds. Health will not be restored when max health turns to normal. These are called jailers. Apparently. What about those creepy things on the wall? Alva, reanimated corpse, infested corpse, peasant hollow, lycanthrope, monstrosity of sin? What the frick is a monstrosity of sin? Oh, yeah, we'll see those in the next episode. What else have we got? Corpse grub. That's the thing that was in a cage that made me bleed. Wretch, sewer centipede, hound rat, large hound rat, mimic basilisk, giant slave, cage spider. So what's the monstrosity? Like the thing that shall not be named. Is that a lycanthrope? No? I'm just going through all the enemies now. Reanimated corpse? No, that's just a hollow of some sort. Wretch. It's a wretch! That horrid thing on the wall is a wretch. Appears to be a large, sickly, pale amalgamation of different creatures. Features a large, gaunt, quadrupedal body with a humanoid head, webbed digits, and underdeveloped wings. Again with the sneezing. I only ever sneeze on camera. Is there any lore here? The first one you encounter seems to be non-hostile prisoner gripping a wall. Okay, so that's all the lore they have about it. That first one's non-hostile, the rest are hostile. So I shouldn't... I shouldn't feel bad about killing it. That's good. I got over it pretty quickly anyway. I wonder if I can look up what was inside that mimic. Ill-filled dungeon. It contained a dark clutch ring. So I'm glad I missed that, because that is just a waste of my time. Okay, so here's where it gets really stupid. I left, I'd finished this area, I've spotted that that's a mimic, so I'm like, okay, don't attack this. But then these cows come in, and then the mimic just gets caught on the backswing. And now I have to fight a mimic in a hallway, and it does this. This attack is something of a theme for the next few episodes. I don't know why I've lost my ability to fight mimics effectively, but I have. You know, I go through troughs and peaks. And something of a trough for the time being, it would appear. But again, it's not very far, so... And we're out of the dungeon. I think at this point I was just like, well, whatever, I've finished it. You know, I'm going back out of choice. It can't hurt me, because I can always leave. Do I kill Yorm this episode? Stick around to find out. I think I do. But first I need to go back and suffer a bit more. I'm determined that there's something in this dungeon worth having. But again, as we've discussed, there's very few items that are genuinely worth having. Estus flash shards, undead bone dusts. Oops, sorry. I knocked my pop filter into my microphone, which I now need to readjust. There we go. Is it touching it? It's quite a cheap pop filter. I mean, it does its job admirably, but the arm it's on is shockingly bad. This is a lycanthrope. Remember these from the crucifixion ones that I killed lots of at a much earlier level and had no problem with? Yeah. As I said, you know, highs and lows, and this is an example of a low. They're hyper aggressive, they've got red eyes, they do decent damage. What does the red eyes mean? Because I don't think it means, like, tainted by the abyss or anything like that. Hard to know. Again, I'm at a computer. You know, the world at my fingertips. What does red eyes mean in Dark Souls 3? Enemies with red eyes. The Dark Souls 3 message board from PlayStation. I know white eyes means they resurrect when you kill them. I did not know that. Corrupted by abyss and stronger mobs. People are suggesting you can't fully block their damage with a shield. Other people are saying just buffed versions of their counterparts, i.e. they're more aggressive, follow you longer, or a bit harder to kill, or have more HP. Others suggesting... Oh, this guy seems to know what he's talking about. White eyes are self-resurrecting. Red eyes are elite or aggressive. White and black stigma. Stigma? Anyway, it means they are from the abyss, and if they have black eyes, they are dark. And someone, a guy called Psycho Fang, has clarified it means they have higher damage output and aggression of the same mobs. Yeah, they're just more aggressive and do more damage. Oh, and the lore thing... I have more health this time, so I think I survived. But yeah, I'm not good at fighting mimics anymore. So instead... Let's not... Please don't grab me again. Yeah, let's not address that. Let's just let's Google stuff on the internet. I've only got 4 minutes 47 left. Come on, boys. If you've survived this far, hit that like button. And leave a comment saying, I survived to the mimic kill or something. I don't know. Say whatever you want. I'm not the boss of you. I'm not a cop. I'm barely even a sign. Look at these cows. It's the room I was in. No real desire to go back. And look! Now there's 4 of them! I hate this place. And so do you. I don't want to tell you how to feel about stuff, but you hate this place. Look at me, I'm Fox News telling you who and what to hate. Hi-oh. Please. So now I have to just go... I get... In my original voiceover track, I get so annoyed. I just have to stand here and wait for something to wear off. Look at this. This isn't fun. It's a gameplay decision. I just don't think it's a good one. Oh, we sip, and then I can go back and kill these hoes. So I'm using some very misogynistic language. But, you know, they're not against all women, just these specific women. And I get bored. I'm like, I'm just going to go open this. And one of these has a jump scare, I'm sure, but I don't think it actually has an ambush. Xanthus Ashes, I was very excited about that, because the Xanthus enemy... Well, the Xanthus set is derived from Demon's Souls. That's the game. Where it's a boss that you fight, and when you approach it, other people that are online can be pulled in to control that boss. So it's a boss that becomes a PvP fight. And that's a really cool idea. But if you go against someone that's really good, or happy being a scumlord, then you're going to lose, because he's got a spear that it can just spam, I think, the heavy attack, and it will just stun lock you into oblivion. So it becomes unbeatable. Or you can get someone, you know, got a good heart, and will just, like, let you win. But again, you don't want to take the challenge away. Or the final option that most people these days will experience is that if you attack that, if you go into that boss and there's no one online to be summoned in, then you just play against the computer version, who is a complete joke and a train wreck. So, you know, it was a cool idea with some slightly poorly thought out elements, but I don't think it's a bad boss necessarily. I've never fought it. I don't know why I'm giving my critique on it, but I understand the mechanics that go into it. And I'm sympathetic to the idea. They tried it on the Mirror Knight. You know the Mirror Knight from Dark Souls 2 on top of Lothric Castle? Not Lothric, Drangleic Castle. He summons enemies from his shield that are computer controlled, but I do believe they can be humans. They can summon a PvP enemy into your world. And Mirror Knight's it's not that hard of a boss. But it's hard enough that I wouldn't want to fight it and a human invader. I think it's a much weaker human invader, like they only have about 800 health, I believe. But still, like, no, sack that. No. That's just bad luck. And I played through Dark Souls 2 when it was first out, and I never got an invader on that boss. And it took me, I think, 2 or 3 times to kill it. Yeah, I didn't kill it first time. I killed it either second or third time. So it maybe had 6 or 7 chances to summon someone. And never did. We're getting there, boys. We're nearly there. We're just going to pop all our soul packets. And level up. Wonderful. I guess 3 levels? 83,000, and we need 29, so not even 3. 2 levels. 30,000 souls for a level, soul level 72. Bearing in mind the PvP meta level, where most competitive PvP happens, is soul level 120. So I'm still 48 levels short of like the normal. Which is just nuts to me. So when I do PvP against someone. Oh, anyway, if you like the episode, like button. If you didn't, dislike button. I mean, you can't every single Lizard. Hit that subscribe button. It's been Strawman Gaming. I'm here, Strawman, and it's the last one I'm going to do like this, hopefully. I'll see you tomorrow.